Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Brewer's Minute. So we have the full spoiler of Hour of Devastation. It came out last week, we have pre-release this week, so leading into Hour of Devastation actually coming out and us having the cards to play with, let's take a few minutes and talk about 7 Hour of Devastation combos for Modern. These are 7 synergies that are at least good enough that we should investigate them. Whether or not they end up being tier decks or real decks, I have no idea. I don't have deck lists yet, so if you have some ideas on how we can turn these synergies into actual decks, make sure to let me know in the comments. And I should tell you, these are roughly in order from jankiest to least janky. So the first ones we'll talk about, they're real long shots. They probably won't actually work, but we could do them in like an Against the Odds episode or something. And then as we get through the list, we get to the synergies that maybe could end up being really powerful and really strong in the Modern format. So a quick reminder before we break down 7 Hour of Devastation combos for Modern. If you enjoy Brewer's Minute and the other series here on the channel, it would be amazing of you if you could click that subscribe button down in the corner of your screen. It's a great way to support the channel and the site for free. So we got a lot of combos to cover, so let's jump right into it with number 7 on our list, Neheb the Eternal, with Molten Psyche and Fateful Showdown. So basically, Molten Psyche and Fateful Showdown are wheel effects or windfall effects that let us get a whole new hand that also deal damage to our opponent. So if we can get a Neheb the Eternal on the battlefield, and with Molten Psyche we need Metalcraft, but cast a Molten Psyche or a Fateful Showdown, we're going to deal a bunch of damage to our opponent, and we're also going to refill our hand, hopefully drawing more Fateful Showdowns, more Molten Psyches, and then we can just go to our second main phase. We're going to get a ton of mana thanks to Neheb's ability and the damage we dealt to our opponent with the first copies we cast, and then we cast more Molten Psyches, more Fateful Showdowns, hopefully just kill our opponent on the spot. So, I mean, the problem here is Neheb's a little expensive. It doesn't come down until turn 5. We have to have it down before we start wheeling, but I think it bears investigating at least the possibility of doing some crazy stuff with Neheb. So that's number 7 on our list. Moving on to number 6, we have OKETRA'S Last Mercy with Sanguine Bond, and this one's actually pretty simple. So Sanguine Bond makes it so whenever we gain life, our opponent loses that much life, and OKETRA'S Last Mercy can gain us a ton of life for a really cheap mana cost. It's probably the most powerful life gain spell in the Modern format. So the idea here is we play something like a Spellskite, which is just a good card anyway, and then we can activate its ability a bunch of time, the Phyrexian mana ability, get down to like 2 life to 1 life, and then we just cast our OKETRA'S Last Mercy, we gain all the way back up to 20 life, and that's gonna 19 damage, 20 damage to our opponent, which means if they cracked a fetch land, or we hit them with 1 creature, or lightning bolted them, they just die on the spot to a 3 mana life gain spell. So I think this is a really interesting idea. We've seen Sanguine Bond combos floating on the very, very fringe of Modern before, but they've never had a life gain spell at the power level of OKETRA'S Last Mercy, and the support cards like Spellskite are actually good cards, so I think that there's a chance that this could at least be a fun budget or Against the Odds style deck in the Modern format, catch some people by surprise. So that's number 6 on our list. Moving on to number 5 on our list of Hour of Devastation combos for Modern, we have a new god, the Locust god, combined with effects that draw us a card when a creature enters the battlefield. So the 2 big ones I think are BECK Call and Dire Undercurrents. Basically, if we can get a Locust God out and get one of those effects going, all we have to do is draw a single card, and we get to draw our entire deck and make maybe 40, 45, however many cards we draw, we get to make 1/1 flying haste tokens, so we just kill our opponent. If we can do this on our first main phase, all those tokens have haste, we just swing in with like 40 1/1s, while also drawing our whole hand. We could be drawing Pact of Negations and stuff for protection, and just close out the game on the spot. So it's a bit expensive. It revolves around a 6 mana creature, which does die to removal, and that can fizzle the combo, but the combo itself is super powerful if we can pull it off. So Locust God plus enter the battlefield card draw effects like BECK Call coming in number 5. Moving on to number 4 on our list, we have Steward of Solidarity and Intruder Alarm. And we've talked about this combo before. We've seen Thraven Doomsayer and Intruder Alarm be a synergy that hasn't really caught on, but it's powerful. The idea here is if you tap a Steward of Solidarity with an Intruder alarm out. You make a 1/1, which then untaps the Steward of Solidarity with Intruder alarm, which lets you tap Steward of Solidarity to make a 1/1, which untaps Steward of Solidarity, etc., etc., etc. Basically, infinite tokens. The sweet thing about this combo, and it's something that we've never had before with Intruder alarm, is the curve. So Steward of Solidarity 2-drop comes down on turn 2. In theory, we just play Intruder alarm on turn 3. We immediately go infinite with 1/1 tokens, win the game. That's a very fast pace. That's faster than most combo decks. I mean, if you look at Storm, they're usually winning turn 3, turn 4. It's a very competitive speed for the modern format. This is a very fast combo when we get the right draws. And with the other options, you get this curve clunkiness where you're looking to play a 3-drop, then the next turn on turn 4, resolve another 3-drop. The curve is so much smoother with Steward of Solidarity that I think it maybe gives Intruder Alarm an actual chance to be a somewhat real deck in the modern format, just because the nut draw is so good. 2-drop, 3-drop, I win the game. Seems pretty powerful. So it comes in at number 4 on our list. Moving on to number 3 on our list, we have the worst Planeswalker since Tibalt, Samut the Tested, but the best Planeswalker since Jason Mind Sculptor, in combination with Doubling Season. So if we can get a Doubling Season down, play a Samut the Tested, things go all kind of crazy. We immediately ultimate, we get to tutor out 2 Planeswalkers or creatures, so we can tutor out something that immediately wins the game, a Kiki Jiki with a Restoration Angel, good game, we make infinite Restoration Angels, we win, we can tutor out another Planeswalker, like Nahiri, along with a Samut, ultimate both of them immediately, get an Emrakul, get another Samut. I mean, there's so many ways to win the game. It's almost impossible that we don't win the game if we just cast a Samut with a Doubling Season out. Of course, there's other Planeswalkers that are very good. Nahiri gets an Emrakul right away, but I think Samut is maybe the most powerful, or at least the second most powerful Planeswalker with Doubling Season, and we've seen the Doubling Season Blood Moon Planeswalker deck have fringe success in the format, and I think this just amps it up to another level, because we have another I win the game Planeswalker. We're not hoping to get value, not doing some tricky things, not gaining life or making tokens. We just play Doubling Season and then Samut, and then good game, it's over on the spot. And that brings it in at number 3 on our list. Moving on to number 2 on our list, we have the new curse Fraying Sanity with TRAUMATIZE. So everyone loves mill in Modern, but we've never really had a I win the game mill combo until now. So Fraying Sanity basically doubles our mill. However many cards we mill, we get to mill that number again at the end step, and TRAUMATIZE happens to mill half of our opponent's deck. So if you mill half and then mill another half, that equals up to all of our opponent's deck. So if we just play Fraying Sanity on turn 3, even on turn 2 with a Birds of Paradise or something, follow that up with a TRAUMATIZE, we just mill our opponent's entire deck on one turn, no matter how many cards they have in their library, and we win the game on the spot. Of course, there are a few concerns. I mean, this is a powerful combo. 3-drop, 5-drop, win the game. That's pretty fast and pretty good. The concern is people do play stuff like Emrakul, which shuffles the graveyard back in, so we'd have to account for that, have a plan for beating Emrakul, could play a Leyline of the Void, or Rest in Peace, Surgical Extractions, something to deal with that. But otherwise, this seems like it's pretty powerful, pretty competitively costed, and might have a chance to make mill a real deck in the Modern format. So that's number 2 on our list. Coming in at number 1 on our list, we have my favorite lock from Hour of Devastation, Solemnity with Phyrexian Unlife. So basically, this is 2 3-mana enchantments that, if we get them on the game together, makes it so we can never take damage. It's basically a hard lock. Yes, it loses to Fraying Sanity TRAUMATIZE, because that's not damage-based. It could lose to Emrakul's Annihilation, but a huge percentage of decks in the Modern format can't beat it. Storm can't beat it because it wins with damage. Ad Nauseam can't beat it because it wins with damage. So until our opponent gets one or both of our pieces off of the table, they just can't kill us. Like 90% of decks can't kill us through this lock, and it's so cheap. It's only 3 mana for both pieces. So in theory, we can play one piece on turn 2 with a Birds of Paradise, another piece on turn 3, and we win the game. It works with Enduring Ideal to tutor them up. So I think that this lock has a chance to be really competitive. We've seen Enchantress Prison decks with Ghostly Prison, with Sphere of Safety, be close to being good enough in the modern format, and I think that Solemnity and Phyrexian Unlife has a chance to bump those decks to the next level and really push them into, like, the second tier of the format, because it's so strong and it asks for your opponent to have these very specific answers that a decent amount of decks don't have, and we can even make the lock harder with the help of Greater Auramancy to give all of our enchantments hexproof. There's so many ways to just make this so strong and so hard for an opponent to deal with. So I'm super excited to try out the Solemnity Phyrexian Unlife lock. I think this one could be slotted into known decks like Ad Nauseam, or it could really push those enchantment prison decks up to the top tier of the format, because a lot of decks are really going to struggle to beat this cheap, efficient 2-card combo. So anyway, those are my top 7 modern combos from Hour of Devastation. So what do you think? What deck lists can we build around these combos? Which ones are viable? What ones are you most excited to play? Did I miss any combos for Modern with new Hour of Devastation cards? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.